All right, today we're heading to the heart of the Alps to check out a place that's a real paradox, the Principality of Liechtenstein. Get ready, because you're about to discover how this tiny country is a true global powerhouse. So, let me just ask you this. Can you imagine a whole country that's smaller than, say, Washington, D.C., but also happens to have one of the highest incomes in the entire world? It sounds kind of wild, right? Well, that incredible contrast is exactly what makes Liechtenstein so fascinating. First things first, though, let's figure out where on Earth this place actually is. Okay, so to really get Liechtenstein, you have to start with its location on the map, because it has this truly unique geographic status that you've probably never even heard of. Check this out. The country is what's known as doubly landlocked. Now, what on earth does that mean? It means it's a landlocked country that's completely surrounded by other landlocked countries, in this case, Austria and Switzerland. You have to cross at least two national borders just to get to a coastline. And get this, there is only one other country on the entire planet like it, Uzbekistan. That is a very exclusive geographical club. And when we say it's small, we mean really small. To put it in perspective for you, the entire country is just 160 square kilometers. That's actually smaller than the capital city of the United States. It's the very definition of a microstate, but as we'll see, it definitely punches above its weight. All right, so we know where it is and how small it is. Now let's zoom in a little closer and talk about the landscape itself. Because honestly, the scenery is just spectacular, and it really defines the nation's whole character. You can basically think of the country as having a split personality terrain-wise. About a third of it, the western part, is a flat, fertile plain in the Rhine Valley. That's where most people live. But the rest? It's pure dramatic Alps soaring up to almost 2,600 meters. This huge difference in elevation creates some absolutely stunning views. And this chart just shows you how incredibly green the country is. Look at that, more than 80% of its land is either forest or farmland. So yeah, despite being this industrial and financial hub, Liechtenstein is still deeply, deeply connected to its natural environment. So here's the big question. How does a tiny mountainous nation become such an economic giant? This is where the story gets really compelling. Just take a second and look at that number. A GDP per capita of over $230,000. That's not just high, that puts it at number one in the world. To give you some context, that's more than double what you see in its super wealthy neighbor, Switzerland. It's absolutely staggering, and it tells you that their economy is doing something very special. And this didn't just happen overnight. It's pretty incredible, but in just the last 50 or 60 years, Liechtenstein has gone from being mostly farmland to one of the most highly industrialized nations on Earth. It's truly one of the great economic success stories of our time. And this chart really tells that story perfectly. See agriculture way down there? That tiny little sliver is just 0.2%. The real engine of the economy is that powerful combination of industry and services, making up pretty much, well, everything. Now, a lot of people hear Liechtenstein and just think banking. And while financial services are huge, that's not the whole picture. They are a world leader in specialized, high-value manufacturing. We're talking things like precision instruments, high-tech electronics. They even make a ton of the world's dental products. Who knew, right? It's a masterclass in finding a niche and excelling at it. But, of course, a country is way more than just its economy. So let's switch gears and get a real taste of the Principality, its rich culture, traditions, and, of course, the food. The food here is exactly what you'd hope for from an Alpine nation. Hearty, comforting, and delicious. You absolutely have to try the national dish. It's called Käseknöpfle. Think of it as the ultimate mac and cheese. It's this amazing homemade pasta smothered in rich local cheese and topped with crispy fried onions. It is the perfect meal after a day in the mountains. And I just love this little saying. It really shows you how food is woven right into the fabric of family life here. Every family has its own secret recipe for the national dish, a tradition passed down through generations. It's just so charming. If you really want to see the whole nation celebrating, you've got to be there on August 15th for National Day. It is the biggest party of the year. And the coolest part? After the official ceremonies, the royal family literally throws open the castle gates and invites the public for a reception in the Rose Garden. The whole day is a massive festival that ends with a spectacular fireworks display. So, are you inspired to pack your bags yet? Yeah, I thought so. Let's run through a few highlights of what you should absolutely see and do if you visit. Okay, here's a perfect little plan. You'd start in the capital, Vaduz, to see the iconic castle overlooking the city. Then, for a truly unique cultural experience, you could go to the Princely Liechtenstein Tattoo, a music festival at castle ruins. And to really see it all, hike the Liechtenstein Trail. It's this incredible path that literally connects every single one of the country's 11 towns, letting you walk from one end of the nation to the other. And there's always something happening. For such a tiny country, it has a surprisingly packed cultural calendar. You've got open-air classical music, huge carnival parades, street food festivals, guitar festivals, film festivals. It's amazing how much is going on all year round. So we end up right back where we started, with this fascinating contrast. A nation that holds tight to its ancient traditions while also competing at the highest levels of global industry and finance. It is such a unique model for success. And it leaves us with one final thought. What lessons can this tiny powerhouse teach the rest of the world?